Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dallas Daily Show. We are still in the car. We are still getting some hours in on the permit driver. Lex, how you feeling this morning?
Tired.
We are tired and we are on our way to football practice. However, today's conversation is not about football practice. It is about driving under different conditions. All right, let's get into the conversation. So all this week, being with Lex in the car here as he's getting his hours in behind the wheel, I've been paying attention to different things that I've continued to relearn as he's been behind the wheel, and he's now expanding his driving expertise. Let's say it that way. He is expanding behind the wheel in such a way that he is now driven. What, you've driven in rain now?
Rain, storms, nighttime, construction all over the place.
That's true. You hit the construction zones too. So he's getting exposed to a lot of different environments, and just watching him handle these, and he's not always driving with 10 and 2 on the road. Sometimes you've adopted the 12 and 6 mentality, or like 12 and 5.
That's where it's at.
So the 12 and 5 hand mentality at times. And what I've noticed, though, is for him, yes, the concentration level goes up a little bit in some of these newer environments. But since he's already able to start taking in all the other things you see, like you and I don't think about it if we've been driving, if we have levels of mastery that we've been driving 10, 20, 30 years, we don't necessarily think about all of these things. But I've watched him as he has gained more and more awareness, more and more skill, and more mastery. The focus level has to go up a little bit, though, once it's in newer or stranger environments. So, for instance, when he's driving in the rain, when he's driving through a construction zone where there's active construction occurring, his focus level has to be a lot higher during those moments. You know, hit a worker, $10,000 fine, all those signs that we see all the time. But he has to make sure that that focus level is higher, because it's just new. The principles are always the same, but the environment defines your focus. And that's what I'm really kind of thinking about this morning is the principles are always the same in life and business and success and health and relationships. But maybe let's use relationships as an example. Sometimes, even though I've been married now for, 22 years next month, even though I've been married that long, and I kind of have a lot of the principles down, when my wife and I go into a different environment of our relationship, a place we've never been before, a conversation we've never had before, we still have to keep the open lines of communication, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everything's going to be exactly the same as it always is. Sometimes I have to go back to some 10 and 2 maneuvers to make sure that I don't wound her. Same with business, right? When I find myself in a different environment, maybe with a different corporate client or a coaching client type that I've never worked with before, working with some people who are in direct sales, it still is the same as working with people who are in corporate sales. Still the same principles, but it's a different environment, so I have to learn slightly new language. I have to learn slightly new techniques to say, hey, how do we use the principles in this new environment? And so I guess the challenge for you today is, what are some places where you've got some principles down? You're like, I'm a pro at X. I'm a pro at this. And yet, when you find yourself in a new environment, you get a little nervous, where you go, man, do I know about this? Because the truth is, gang, it can cause us to question everything. Sometimes when we go into a new environment, a new arena, if we're not thinking of the principles first and that we're a master of the principles, we're trying and figuring out the environment first, we're actually not doing ourselves a service. Think of it like, sailing on a small sea, sailing in the Mediterranean Sea is the same as sailing on a big ocean. sailing is sailing is sailing. It's just the environments sometimes shift. And so you just have to be aware of the new environments and say, oh, well, there might be some nuance to it, but the principles of sailing are always the same. So where are you nervous about environments when what you should be is totally focused on your principles, how you apply, no matter the arena? All right, that's it. That's all I got for you today. Lex is getting to be a better driver every day. You are crushing it, my friend.
Thank you.
You guys, much love. Go out there, have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to dallasdailyshow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.